If you have problems with balance while you're on one leg or hip stability, then this video is going to teach you a critical concept that you can start using right now to improve both. Hey, what's up? Eric Wong here from Precision Movement, and today we're going to talk about single leg balance and hip stability, and we're going to go through a drill that might help you out if you've got problems with either of those things. Okay, so when we think about balance, when we see balance exercises, you see all these different exercises where you're on one leg on maybe a wobble board or a Bosu ball or some kind of unstable surface, but there's nothing that I've come across, at least, that teach you about what it should feel like to improve your balance if it's a problem from your hips, or to improve the stability of your hips if you have what's known as a positive Trendelenburg sign. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the Trendelenburg, it's a test that is often used in physiotherapy where you'll just have somebody stand on one leg, and if the sign is positive, one of two things will happen. Either the hip will shift out like that, or the pelvis will tilt this way. Okay, it's difficult for me to do that one. Okay, but the pelvis will kind of tilt like that. Okay, that's known as a positive sign, positive test, and what that means is hip abductor function is typically not working properly. Okay, that's the traditional interpretation of a positive Trendelenburg. Okay, but this is something that I've personally been dealing with for a long time on my right side only. Left side, great balance, great stability, no problem. Right side would be a little bit wonky, and I would have that positive sign. The hip would shift right out like that. Okay, I always attributed it to the back surgery that I had when I was 14 that kind of messed up my whole right. I've got lots of different dysfunctions on my right side that I've had to clean up, but this is one that I've never been able to really get it too good. Okay, I've made some improvements, but never gotten to the point where it's symmetrical with my left. Okay, but this drill might help with that. So what I've discovered is that in the past, what I've been trying to do is really muscle it, really hold tight the different, like the superficial muscles or the big prime mover muscles like the glutes, hamstrings, quads, try to contract everything to maintain that stability. And while it works, it's not something that works long term. Okay, for long-term stability, for long-term posture, postural adaptations, or the ability to maintain good posture, we need the deep muscles, the deep stabilizers, the local stabilizers to be doing their job. And those muscles, we can't see them because they're deep to everything else, and we have a lot more difficulty feeling them, or with that kinesthetic awareness of when they're contracting. Okay, so we need other cues to try to get these guys woken up and functioning properly. So here's what I want you to do. So if you have positive Trendelenburg sign where your hip shifts out like this, or you know you've got really, really bad balance on one leg, okay, here's what I want you to do. If you have a good leg, then first on your good leg, just lift up and balance, and just kind of see what's going on. Pay attention to the level of contraction of the various muscles in the hip, in the foot, the ankle, that's going on to keep you in balance, okay? Now, once you've kind of gotten that awareness, go to the other side and just do it naturally and just lift up. And if I'm left to my own just natural ability, this is what it'll look like. You'll see that hip shift out to the side a little bit. And I don't know if you can see me wavering a little more on this side. Okay, now here's what to do. First thing we need to activate the medial arch, because if the muscles in the bottom of the foot, the intrinsic muscles in the bottom of the foot are not firing, our balance is going to be off. Okay, so to activate the medial arch, think pushing through the balls of your feet. I call this metatarsal pressure. Talk about this and train it in my lower limb control course at length. Okay, so metatarsal pressure, so I can just push down through the metatarsals, all 5 metatarsals in the foot. Okay, so I can step back in a split stance, left foot back, right foot, I'm pushing down in the metatarsals just to activate. Okay, when I step up, I'm going to make sure that that stays activated by bringing my weight forward a little bit, just to further activate those muscles. If my weight's all on my heels, then those muscles don't have to do anything. Okay, so I'm just going to activate those muscles a little bit, fire them up, make sure they're on. And then when I lift, I'm going to lift, and I'm going to think about staying tall through this whole side. Okay, I'm not thinking about squeezing the glutes so much as pushing my whole body up through my leg, up tall to the ceiling, like I'm trying to reach something right up high, okay, with my head. I'm trying to reach with my head, pushing through the lower limb. Now, if you could see this, look at where my hip is compared to if I just kind of lift and I don't think about that. You see the hip shift out to the side a little bit more, okay? Whereas here, think tall, metatarsal activation. And then I get a lot less hip shift, okay? What you'll also feel when you do that is some fatigue, some serious fatigue happening deep in the hip, not in your usual suspects like the glute max or the glute medius, but deep in the hip, these little muscles that are called the gemelli, obturators, piriformis, even those muscles will be firing more. And because they haven't been working, if you've got this shift going on, your stability is coming by just hanging out on the joint capsule, okay? Passive stability, the IT band, that's all contributing to your stability. But now that these muscles are working, when we think of this cue of getting tall and elongating through the leg and through the spine with metatarsal pressure, those deep hip muscles are working now. And because they haven't been working, they're going to fatigue very quickly. So you're going to feel that. Okay? So think of height through the leg, elongation, and just work holds. When you're brushing your teeth, work holds as frequently as possible. We're trying to repattern this old pattern of disactivation or unactivation with working those deep hip muscles. Once you get decent at that, holding, where you don't have to think about it too much and it's not feeling like you're really fatigued, then you can just add some arm movements, okay? Different arm movements, different planes of motion to ensure that these muscles can react and respond to whatever you're throwing at them, okay? The more you increase the speed and the range of the arm movements, get the torso movements in there, the more difficult it's going to be, the more work it is going to be on those muscles. But you never lose that elongation through the hip and through the spine, okay, and the metatarsal pressure. Never lose that, okay? So never compromise, move the arms around, and this is how we're going to work these muscles in these different planes now so that they'll be there for you when you're doing different exercises, lunges, squats, running, sprinting, jumping, all that stuff. These muscles will be, you want to start to integrate them in these different movements, and the first step is with these different arm movements. All right, so that is critical concept to understand about single leg balance and stability. Work that drill, the more frequently the better, and progress it with first the arm movements and then start to think about it in your different exercises. And that's how you're going to fix this problem for good, okay? It's not about the superficial muscles clenching tight, okay? That works, but that only works when you're doing that. You can't walk around like that. So think about this subtle activation of the deep muscles, and this is your path to fixing this for good. All right? So thank you for checking out this video. I hope you've subscribed to the channel so you don't miss anything. And make sure you check out the website at precisionmovement.coach because we've got some in-depth articles and tutorials there for you that are going to help you with pain, injuries, and improving your mobility. All right, thanks again. Talk to you soon. Peace.